What's going on, you guys? Just wanted to do a quick intro to congratulate the latest winner for our latest giveaway. Ishigami-kun is the official winner for the next $25 either Google Play or iOS gift card. Just go ahead and shoot me an email at the email that you will see on the screen here, and I will send you over a photo of the card code for either your Google Play or your iOS gift card that you have won. We will be doing another gift card giveaway that we'll be announcing in tomorrow's video, but let's go ahead and hop into part one of this two-part 7 Deadly Sins collaboration breakdown. What's going on, you guys? Theo here with the big review, back yet again with another King of Fighters Allstar video, and today is the official drop day for the 7 Deadly Sins collaboration update. We're going to go ahead and take a look at everything that this has in store for us, but before we do, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So I'm going to be breezing through a lot of this event information in this video because I don't want this video to be 45 minutes long, and we already talked about a lot of this stuff in yesterday's video breaking down the global live stream, so I don't feel like I need to go into too much explanation on a lot of this stuff if you already watched that video, because that was pretty much what we got with this update as far as the 7 Deadly Sins stuff was concerned. So this is going to be your login streak for the next 2 weeks. The biggest thing here to take into account is whenever you log in for the first time during this event, you will get this free Meliodas. So this Meliodas is overall pretty decent for a free-to-play character. He is a fess, so it's nice that they're giving you a free fess here. But as you can see, he's going to increase green element fighters attack by 40%. If you take a look at his cores here, overall, his cores aren't too bad at all. He's going to have a 15% power charge rate increase on his cores, which is really nice. His exclusive ones are going to decrease bleed, darkness, and damage received by 60%, and decreases the target's defense by 35% for 5 seconds upon attacking a bleeding target on a cooldown of 15 seconds. And then his Lost Vein is going to give him 20% power when his combo count is 10 or above on a cooldown of 20 seconds. And then, of course, he'll have the 7 Deadly Sins exclusive core that's exclusive to all the characters, which, to reiterate, increases attack by 10% and decreases damage received by 10% when HP is 50% or more. And then he has a 10% chance to instantly gain 10% of power upon landing a hit on a cooldown of 12 seconds. And again, that's going to be an exclusive core for all the 7 Deadly Sins characters. On his skills, he's going to increase attack by 28% for 7 seconds on his S1, as well as have a 70% chance to ignore the target's guard upon landing a successful attack. He's also on his S2 going to have decreased damage received by 70% for 3 seconds. And then on his S3, he's going to have super armor and inflict 30% of attack as bleed damage to the target every 1 second for 7 seconds upon landing a skill. So overall, this is a pretty decent free-to-play character. Being a green attack and having the fact that he is going to have some nice dot apps and things like that that he's able to take advantage of overall is going to make him an okay free-to-play character. I wouldn't say that he is anything that is going to be super special. He is definitely a free character that's pretty much obvious from his kit. So overall, for a free character that you're getting just for logging in, you can't really complain. When you take a look at the rest of this mileage, you're going to be able to get a memory whenever you log in for the final day of this, and you're also going to be able to pick up some of these hammers that are exclusive for the event for the 7 Deadly Sin stones, and you'll be able to get some of his souls to build them up. So for those of you that are new to the game and maybe just started up with this collaboration, he'll be a character you'll probably want to use, but for those of you who are veterans, he's pretty much just going to be another roster slot for your codex and little else. So moving on now, we're going to talk about some of these events. Now, there's a lot to talk about here, and like I said, I'm just going to kind of breeze through because we talked about a lot of this stuff yesterday when we broke down the global live stream. But this is going to be the Rush Dungeon. Right now, the first chapter of this is the only thing that is open, and as you'll see here, in 16 hours, the second chapter will open, and then in 24 hours, we'll be able to unlock the next part. So overall, I always give the same recommendation here. Don't try to go crazy with grinding this until this final chapter opens, because you'll be able to yield you a lot better points when you do it that way. And in order to get the points, you're going to be better off including the new 7 Deadly Sins characters and their cards in your teams. So try to use as many of those as you can if you already have some of these guys. But taking a look at the exchange shop here, we already talked about this yesterday as well, but to reiterate, basically on a daily shot, you're going to be able to get the hammers, both the 7 Deadly Sins hammers and the gold hammers, as well as some capsules daily. So I would try to take advantage of as much of that as humanly possible, especially the hammers. As far as this card set goes, this is kind of your standard fare when it comes to free cards. I wouldn't say that this is anything you're probably going to use very much if you are a veteran player. If you're a new player, then you'll probably be using this quite a bit, but eventually you'll cycle it out because it isn't anything super special. I mean, being able to increase your attack by 13% if your HP is 50% or more, and then it switching to your defense whenever it's 49% or less is kind of sus, really, because it basically, you would basically want to put this on an attack type to start the round, and then you'd want it on a defense type to end the round. The 13% defense to a attack type character or anything else like that is really negligible and not going to do much to begin with. So I don't feel like I really need to explain why this card set is basically just your standard free set. There's really not anything super special about it, and in my opinion, it's just going to be there for collection purposes. So as far as these stones are going to be concerned, now that we can finally take a look at what the 7 Deadly Sins stones actually look like, this will be your selection box here. This is going to be how you're able to farm these stones, but basically taking a look here, it's your standard fare as far as what you're looking at. You're looking at your attack, your defense, your HP stones, and then your mixed stat stones like normal. Obviously, you're typically going to be sticking with the attack or the defense stones depending on what character you're looking at. But as far as the effects on these, obviously you're going to have 2 of the effects that are going to increase whatever stat you're choosing, and then the middle effect is going to be the one that is kind of the more important here as far as what is going to differentiate these different stones. So basically the first one is going to decrease damage received. I believe that probably caps out at 8 or 10%. It is tough to know right now because I haven't seen any photos of any of these maxed out yet. And then your middle stone is going to be the one that increases the target's damage received, so is basically going to increase the damage you're outputting with your character. And then finally the third one is going to be the one that gives you the power increase. So this one here, I believe probably, if I'm guessing correctly, probably maxes out at about 3 to 5%, more than likely. But I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see when people finally get these maxed out themselves to kind of figure out how these look as far as maxed out stats. But overall, these are pretty good. I'm not going to say and lie to you guys and tell you I feel like on the surface they look like they're any stronger than the 7 Night Stones, because the 7 Night Stones actually to me seem like they were probably a fair bit better. But these are still really good, I'm sure, overall. Again, I can't really make a call on these until I see the exact max out stats. I did prefer, however, the effects on some of the other 7 Night Stones, but overall these are really good though. So stones in general just tend to be good no matter what. I mean, they're basically free stat buffs and free effects, so you can't really complain. But I do believe that the 7 Nights ones probably were a little bit more stacked on effects. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that, but I will definitely bring that information to you guys once I know exactly what those max out at. So yeah, make sure that you do this rush dungeon today though, guys, because you'll want these 50 rubies that you can get every day for doing this, so make sure you do it. You also get some hammers there, which are just your common ones, but still nice free hammers. And again, don't worry about going into this super hardcore until the final chapter opens up. So next up, we are going to be taking a look at some of these other events real quick. So this is going to be the Bon event. Basically, what you're looking at here is these are going to be some of your items that you're going to get dropped from this event. You're going to have different difficulties for the Bon event, and you're basically going to be looking at what is going to be a multiplayer game mode. So you'll be able to go in with friends or guild members and be able to go through and get this done. I would assume more than likely you'll be able to do it without people if you are a veteran, considering how low the recommended CP level is for this, but you're you're only able to do it once a day. So try to do the maximum difficulty that you can, because that's obviously going to yield you better items or more items overall. But yeah, this is something that you'll want to make sure that you get done at least once a day, because you're going to need to take advantage of these here as much as possible if you're planning on building up your 7 Deadly Sins characters. So make sure that you are doing that. Next up is going to be the King Relay Dungeon. So this guy here is going to basically be your normal relay dungeon that you're typically used to. These are going to be the items that you get for clearing it for the first time. So looking like we're going to be able to get more of these 70s hammers here, and then it's a gold hammer at the very end, which, how generous, right? And then here, this looks like it is going to be a wooden hawk statue. So yay. I'm assuming that's the affinity item for this event, the gold affinity item, as it were. So no rubies anywhere to be seen here, from what I can tell. So there's that. Yeah. Have fun, guys. More homework. Yay. Anyway, moving on. Hawk here. This we talked about yesterday as well. This Hawk event is basically just going to be kind of a tap battle like we're used to with the Rio event that we get in the story mode as a bonus mission. So basically you'll go in and you'll tap, 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 and then you'll get a bunch of gold at the end, which is something. But yeah, as you'll see here, these are going to be your rewards. So the overall rewards are going to be gold, but when it comes to what you get for doing this for the first time, you can get some XP capsule boxes for your awakening level characters. So yeah, that's going to be your event mission for your Captain Hawk mission. Not anything too crazy. That's actually a pretty easy thing to do every day. So that is going to pretty much be the dungeons that we have for right now. So pretty much just make sure you're doing the Bond event once a day, and then make sure you're doing the King event once a day. And then finally, as far as the Rush dungeon is concerned, just try to make sure that you do it at least once today to get your 50 rubies, and then don't worry about it too much as far as grinding it out until the actual final chapter opens up, because that's going to be the one that you'll want to grind on. So that is going to be pretty much all of the events there. So now I figure we'll segue into the card banner, because we are going to be doing the characters on a separate video as a part 2 to this video, because there's just too much information to go over and I don't want to rush through the character explanations, so we'll get to that. But this is going to be your mileage for your cards, and then you are going to be taking a look at your rates here. As far as the mileage goes, it's going to be 9k rubies or 15 total multis, as we've come to expect for collaboration card banners. All these finishers are 3 PGs, which is nice. We pretty much have learned to expect that for collaboration characters. But we're going to take a look at the set and the option cards, starting out with the set here, and that's going to be the Intensifying Thirst for Knowledge set, which basically is going to increase attack by 7% per card, so 21% total, and then also increase Starlight and Chill damage by 75% and active skill damage by 23%. So very similar to the 7 Knights set. Now, the first thing that you may notice here is the fact that the CP on these cards, which I always tell people, CP isn't necessarily the biggest deal in the world if the cards are good enough to kind of absorb that hit. However, these are very low for your CP gains. And then also something to keep in mind is really right now the only thing that you'd be using this for in general would be Guild Raid Lunatic. And if I'm being honest with all of you guys, I feel like this is not going to outperform a Serena set in any measurable way. So to be honest, this is probably a set that you're not going to need or be using very often. Now, time will tell. Right now, these are still very new. This is day 1, so that could all change. But just from my own kind of thoughts on these, and then also talking to other people about it, there's really not any place where this set looks like it is going to make a big impact for now. Now, this obviously doesn't take into consideration unreleased content or future modes that might be added into the game where Starlight will be effective. So, you know, your mileage may vary down the road, but all I can speak to right now is what's currently in the game. And as far as that is concerned, I really don't think that this is a must-have set. I would definitely pick one up just for kind of completionist reasons and to future-proof yourself just in case. But at the same time, I'm not seeing a major need for this right now, because again, if you're doing Guild Raid Lunatic, you're almost better off just going with the current Fest sets that are available, especially considering how good the Serena set is in things like Guild Raid. So that's up to you guys, but I'm not seeing this as being necessarily one of the better sets that we've gotten for collaborations. Now, moving on to the option cards, this is going to be the best of the two, and then we'll move on to the other one, but this one here is going to increase attack by 5% and critical rate by 2.5%. It's also going to deal additional damage equal to 150% of attack when a 7 Deadly Sins character lands a critical hit. So overall, this is a pretty good option card, especially if you're planning on heavily investing into the 7 Deadly Sins characters and things like PvP, which is really going to be where they're going to shine. These are not necessarily PvE characters, but we'll talk about that in the next video when we break them down. However, I do feel like if you are going to be investing into these characters in a measurable way, you'll want this card because it is very good for them. Now, it is an exclusive option card. Keep that in mind. You can only have one equipped to one 7Ds character at a time, so you can't have two per character or anything like that. So moving on to the other option card, there's not much to talk about here. This is kind of the spoiler card for this. This is going to increase attack by 5%, increase HP by 5%, and increase attack equal to 20% of defense. So it's got some defense to attack conversion going on, and it touches every major stat. So overall, I really don't feel like this is a card that is necessary to have. Like I said, I feel like this is going to be the one that kind of spoils your pulls whenever you are going in on the card banner, and whenever you pull it, you would have rather have had one of the other cards, whether it's from the set or a finisher card or the other option card. But your mileage may vary. Yet again, I just don't feel like this is a very good card, and I feel like it honestly should have just been a craftable card, to be honest. But that's going to be the cards, guys. Like I said, we'll talk about the characters in a separate video that I will try to get done today. But the last thing I want to talk about is in the craft menu. So if you go to your craft menu, you can craft the 7 Deadly Sins imprint stone boxes. Now, the thing about this is it's going to use these Advent coins, and these Advent coins are going to be available through the Bon Advent dungeon that is going to be the multiplayer dungeon. Now, keep in mind with this, if you are wanting to get 3 stones apiece for every single one of these characters, you are going to need to do the Lunatic version of this every single day without missing a day. If you miss a day, if I mathed this out correctly, and I got this corroborated by a few people on Discord, then you're probably not going to be able to get stones for every single one of these characters. So you're going to need to make sure that you do this every day. So don't forget to do this. You can only do it once a day. Make sure you do it. If you can do it on Lunatic, do so. If you need people to carry you and you're a lower level, maybe ask some people on Discord if they can help you out. But that is going to be kind of a disclaimer I wanted to throw in here, but you can craft these stones in that craft menu, and you'll be able to see here, you're going to be able to do far more than you'll ever need, but this is going to be able to yield you pretty much any one of these stones that you want, so you'll be able to select whichever one pertains to whatever character it is you're looking at. So that is going to be pretty much all of the updates outside of the characters for now, as far as the 7Ds collaboration event is concerned. As I've mentioned briefly, there are other updates that came along with this update that were separate from the 7 Deadly Sins that are a mixed bag, including the issues that are going on with Guild Raid right now. There's a lot of stuff to sift through and to suss out. I'm going to do a separate video going over the characters next, but that will be for later on today. That's going to be the end of this video, though, today, guys. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in part 2. Peace.
Game over.